Good. I used the screen up here, but I went ahead and I printed 2 copies. I'll provide you, Kyle, with one, and Jared, you with one. That way, if um, you want to write notes or whatnot, it's in here. And I didn't have binder clips, so that's why I didn't already have. You haven't given me new money yet, even though it's this fiscal year. Huh?
Well,
They don't even give it to me. Don't worry.
I thought you were the one that gives out the money.
I do, but I have to, sign something.
Should I cancel that order I just placed then?
Probably should. Okay. So, Jared started. So it is Thursday, October 5th, 2023. It is 2:35 p.m. We are here for the City of Port Orange and IUPA labor negotiations. John McKinney, Assistant City Manager.
Shannon Ballmer, Assistant City Attorney.
And Marino, Chief of Police.
Kyle Totten, Business Agent, IUPA.
Ted Kurtz, IUPA Treasurer.
William Harrison, IUPA Board Member.
Jared Alabastados, IUPA President.
Sharon Kranek, HR Director.
Okay. Jared, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon.
So we had our shade meeting with City Council, actually executive session on Tuesday evening. They gave us a couple of items. I just wanted to go back through real quick is that we currently have outstanding a few articles, Article 10 and 11, Article 15. Would you like for me to call out the article names? I'll do that. Article 10 is probationary employees. Article 11, promotional procedures. Article 15, hours of work and overtime. Article 21, that's T8. Article 28, wages, and Article 29, retirement plan, and obviously Article 32, duration of agreement.
I think Article 19 also, we had to, because we made those changes.
Yep. Thank you, Jared.
You're welcome.
Okay. So I'll just get right up into it. So we took the wage proposals, all 4 of them, that was provided to me by y'all at our last meeting. Yep. City Council rejected all 4 of your proposals without further comment. They did come back and made the statement in looking at all of the articles is that, I'm going to bounce between wages and retirement because they're all intermixed. I try and put everything on here for you. City Council has no desire at this time to even look at cap. They will look at the COLA. I will go through that here in a little bit. However, it was stated as well that we want to put additional monies into the pocket of everyone today. So increase our previous proposal by 25 cents across the board. So if you look on the left-hand side, after you can pull it up for you. I got 2 refreshing screens. There's a lag with OneDrive because I actually made a change to it this afternoon and it's showing yesterday. So I'll do it on my screen here because it's got the most current version. If anyone would like to look at it, I'd be more than happy to share it with you. So council directed me to go in and increase everything that was previously provided by the city proposal by 25 cents. What has not changed, and I've stated this to y'all previously, is that the council has made the statement that for year two, they would give 5%. So we, updated the 5% to reflect the new year one. And at this time, they will also, the city manager will provide a 3% across the board for year three, to lock in a 3-year agreement. Council, as I stated, they have no desire to look at a cap increase. They will, however, look at a COLA, but they require me to go in and do a replication. Let me say the name exactly as it is. Prepare an actuarial replication of the active liability and review of the COLA scenario. That would be done by a third-party actuary outside of Mr. Little to confirm the numbers that were provided for the COLA. So once that's completed, council is also then therefore authorized me to immediately reopen the agreement and look at the COLA once that replication has been completed. Council has also stated that under hours of work, it is a 84-hour biweekly pay cycle. So overtime would be calculated after the completion of 84 hours within a 2-week cycle. And with the offer that was originally proposed, and in addition to the 25 cents per hour, we have more than made up for any and all potential difference between 80 to 84. And that was provided to you back in July with that information of how it works out. The other item that's in here, I'll go through it, is that if we go and we look at Article 29, retirement, I did not make any changes into this, although council has already agreed, as previously provided, to a drop at 20, high 3, and a retirement at 20, 10 and 48. So that is already agreed to by council. We wouldn't put it in here and as I've stated to you before, when we take the CBA for ratification, what we're done is I would be taking the CBA and the first reading of the ordinance side by side. So that is, I've stated to y'all on that statement previously. The other thing that I've gone in and done, 3-year contract, this has not changed at all, 32.1. I did make a change to 32.2. So this has been completely rewritten, is that for year 2 of this agreement, October 1st, 2024 through September 30th, 2025, the city will reopen Article 29 retirement after the city performs an actuarial replication of the active liability and review of the COLA proposal. For year 3 of this agreement, October 1st, 2025 through September 30th, 2026, one mutually agreed upon article shall be subject to negotiations excluding Article 28 wages. No other item or provision of this agreement shall be a proper subject for negotiation during the term of this agreement unless it is mutually agreed upon by the parties in writing to renegotiate such items in negotiations.
John, let me interrupt you a second. Brian is on speakerphone. Brian Lambert.
Yep. Hello, Mr. Lambert. Then if I go back to Article 28, I want to make sure that I share with you anything and everything that has been changed. When we go in and we look at this, is that if you'll go back to the previous version that was provided to you, this also on year 2, it had the item regarding the ratification of the agreement. Well, the ratification was year 1, so that language didn't need to be in year 2. I also provided in here that I added 28.3, which would be for year 3. So I just copied everything lock, stock, and barrel. There was duplication of wording in here. I cleaned that up with the city attorney this afternoon. And in here, we added 28.8, effective upon expiration of this agreement on September 30th, 2026. There shall be no wage increases until a successor agreement is ratified. We just looked at the other agreements that, we know that we want to go through and negotiate when this is open so that we get any new wage articles, approved long before, this agreement expires in September of 26. I did go in here and I previously struck out the 0. I went ahead and struck the 8 so that it was 84, so that both the numbers were successive, so it wasn't split between a strikeout. Didn't make any changes to this. However, I would ask that y'all read this again to make sure that this incorporates what we discussed. The reason being is that Sharon, Carly, and I have read this with you guys exclusively over the last few months, and a new set of eyes has read it and just wants to make sure that when we took out the word back and in, that was completely clear. I remember the conversation on that months ago was you're off shift, you're out in the parking lot talking to someone, you're not physically in the building, you're in your vehicle, or someone's in the gym working out. You're not on shift, but you're working out. So this was, I remember, extensively that this was related to if the chief walked out there and says, I need you to come in and do something, or Bill, I need you to run to this call, even though you aren't on, because you're on shift, you're outside your normal scheduled work shift, you would be subject to the called in provision and receive the minimum payment of 3 hours at 1.5 times. So again, wanted to make sure that this is crystal clear to all three of you and Kyle to make sure no questions.
If you multiply 2475 times 5%, what do you get?
Which number are you
quarter.
looking at?
Well, you have year one, which is 2475 for a starting guy.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying that year two is a 5% raise across the board.
Except for, we haven't gotten there yet, except for the probationary employees across the board, because if you can't take a first year employee at 2475, 5% is 2599.
But a step one employee is 2588, and you're saying that 5% of that is 2599. So that's 11 cents is 5%
No,
raise?
sir. No, sir.
Okay. Well, you can show me because
you're a step one employee. In the
Mhm.
second year, you're a step two employee.
you're starting out at this amount, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you get hired.
Yep.
Once you complete your first year, you're here, correct?
If you want to look at the formula, sir.
So for year two.
So
as
your
a probation,
5% calculation
step
is
one.
over and down. to
That's
get 5%.
correct.
But
Correct.
that's not how pay scales work. Pay scale is each year you make this much.
Well,
And
this
then
is the
if
same.
you're raising the pay scale 5%, the number one should go up 5%, number two should go up 5%.
5%
That's not
across
a
the board means
5%
5%
Yeah.
across the board.
Yeah.
But you're
Not
step
down.
one.
But that's not 5% across the board.
This is not
That's
5%, any way you cut it.
Okay, we fixed the pay scales to go from, if you're a new employee, you go to step one the second year. And on the third year, you are a step two at 2677. So that 5% and 3% goes over and down.
Because you don't remain probationary the rest
I
of the
understand
year.
that,
But when you say 5% across the board, that means you're saying we're gonna take the wages and we're gonna take 5% and increase them down, and we're gonna
Correct.
increase them 5%.
You didn't
So I
increase
should
the
be able
pay
to go
scale
across and
5%.
go from year one to the next fiscal year of year one and go, okay, increase to 5%. That's how that terminology is used.
Well, if you do that, then year one and probationary will make the same money.
No,
No,
because
it's
you'd
not.
raise year one
No.
5%.
But then it won't be
Year two.
5%, it would actually be more than 5%. If you go from probationary to step one the next year, that's more than 5%.
That's not how that works.
We're talking
When
about
we're-
setting a pay scale, not an individual.
Right.
So if we go to yours here at year one, I'm on probation. I'm miraculously come out of retirement and I'm making $25.88 an hour. When the next year comes around, I will be making $27.17. And then the next year, assuming you stand me for 3 years, I make $27.99 on that. That's what you're saying. Okay. I just wanted to make sure that I understood how you had the chart laid out.
My other question about the pay scales, you're saying you add the 25 cents and that's making up for the 84 to the 80 and 4 to the 84. What you guys told us before was that would be 2.5% increase.
And I came back in July and told you it was actually 2.3%.
Okay, 2.3. This is a 1% increase. We didn't agree to the 84
Okay.
straight yet. You gave us 1%, 9.9, and it decreases because you gave a straight 25.
Understood.
That's not an increase equivalent of the 4 hours of overtime we get from our previous audit. You offered us less money than you did previously.
When we came in here before, the average increase was 7.11%.
Yeah.
Okay, across the board. I'm not looking at an individual. Some people made more, some people made a little
Well,
less.
I'll stop you there
Seven.
because that was including the increase from 84 to 84 straight. So
I agree with you.
that's not a value
Yep.
increase. That's an
Well,
hourly rate
we moved
increase.
past that. So I'm giving what I was instructed on
Okay.
Tuesday night. Okay? Are you square on that, sir?
I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
Yes.
If you feel that it's inappropriately labeled, I'll be more than happy to make anything on that. This was just a chart to show you someone that over the next, I gave you the city's original offer on the left, the council's offer as of Tuesday night, year two's offer, and year three's offer. If you would like it changed any which way, I'll be more than happy to make that change.
When does the seniority come into effect? What point are you triggering the next step?
October 1st.
October 1st. So if we go back to your agreement, so if you are a year two employee, because we've said that it will go into effect the first full pay period following ratification, if you're a tier two employee, we have the ability to do this one of two ways. This is the new chart that goes into effect. So if you're currently a step two employee, and I don't have the current wages in front of me, we're just going to say that they're making currently $25. As soon as this is approved, they will go to $26.24. When their anniversary hits and they're now step three, they would go to $26.62. Okay, that's option one. Option two, if we want, upon ratification of this, if you want to go to immediately, if you're step two, we bump it up to step three, we're okay with that as well. So we can either implement the new wage for step two, and then on anniversary date, give them the step three, or go immediately to their step three. So if your anniversary is not until January, you would get the benefit of it in November. I'll go either way. With that said, did I cover everything? With that said, this is City Council's best and final offer.
Why'd they lower the percentage at year three? That doesn't make common sense.
Well,
Because they
sir,
get 5 and then they go
so-
down to 3.
yeah, well, because we can't predict the economy.
We can't even.
And absolutely. But in the last 6 months,
But you're still trying to do a 3-year contract?
in the last 6 months, we have, outside of negotiations, done a $1.95 increase. We have.
When you
done a
did that,
line
you
of-
said you weren't going to bring that into negotiations. Is that correct?
Okay, I'll take
Did
it.
you tell us that? You said, this is not going to go part, we're doing this on the side. It's not
We
going to be
did
part
do
of the
that on the
negotiation.
side, but we still have gone above and beyond, sir.
But you told us you weren't going to bring that to the
Okay, well, then
negotiations.
scratch that up.
What does that mean?
I said, scratch that, I even said it.
Okay. Thank you.
Brian, did you have
John.
something?
Yeah, is the city willing to consider putting something like, if they fall below 4th or 5th and wages, they're willing to increase?
What I will tell you that I'm willing to do for year 3 is if Nage and Civil Service receive something greater than a 3%, we will match that.
Okay, so no, they're not willing to consider
No, sir. Now,
being matched up against the other agencies in the county?
I can tell you openly, you've been at the council meetings, council has adamantly stated numerous times that we want to be no less than the 3rd or 4th highest. And that is still the mandate that I believe we have been tasked with. And I believe it has shown that if that occurs, I can say that, I'm not going to say with certainty, but I'm sure that we would come back to Kyle and Jared if that became an issue. But I can't guarantee it.
Were you given any reason they didn't want to touch the cap, regardless of the fact that it's almost $34,000 behind inflation?
I was told adamantly, sir, that that will not be a consideration.
So they don't care that the buying power was gone down almost by a third? Okay.
I can assure you, Jared, and I can assure you, Kyle, lock, stock, and barrel, I took everything that y'all asked. And before it was even, after the review by them, it was a no, point blank no. I did go back and again, they said the COLA, and they had a very good explanation. They had a very good explanation of COLA, and they said they are good with the COLA for tier 2 upon confirmation of a replication of the actuarial study.
That's a lot of big words for me because I'm simple.
We're not paying
What does
for that,
that
correct?
No, sir.
What does
Absolutely
that
not.
mean?
It means that someone outside of Mr. Little is going to redo the police
Right.
pension actuarial statement.
They're going to redo what they already
I
did
understand that,
with a
but
different person.
City
When-
doesn't pay
when-
for that.
when would they,
Well,
in what regard would make them actually want to do it? Because I'm not hearing I'm not hearing
Why?
as long as we see this,
Oh, yes, sir. So I can tell you that it was brought up in a meeting that we had, that the number just seemed low by the various parties, and they wanted it confirmed.
okay. So
So
the,
right now, that the COLA is, I'm trying to use the mouse. Let me pull it up here.
It's not a consistent amount.
Okay.
First year is 1%, starting was 1%, second year's 0.4%, step 2 or the third 2 is 3.5, and I'll keep going down.
see, I can't, that's the thing right there is,
Hold on just a second.
Probably makes it a little bit faster.
There you go, Bill. Feel free to make any change you want.
Thank you, sir.
That will clearly state that we did exactly what we stated over and down, adding the 25 cents and the 5% and the 3%. So
I don't know how to, I don't know how to say it without sounding rude. When you say
I've been respectful
we're
to you
gonna
every
do,
day.
I'm not gonna be rude to you, John, I'm just, I'm frustrated because it's this type of mentality, when I see these types of things, that loses my trust. Because when you tell me 5% increase to my wages, that means when I tell these officers, hey, you're gonna get a 5% wage increase, that means they're gonna get it. But what you did was, you cheated it. So it's not 5%, because every time I negotiate with the city, every single time in the last 4 years of me doing this negotiation with the city, when I say 5%, when they say a percentage across the board, that means they're gonna take the numbers, they're gonna add 5%, whatever percent, 6%, and they're gonna be, that's the new number. And this comes off very distrustful. It just does. It's not real. That's not a real number. That's not real 5%. 5% would be you taking 2588, adding 5% to it and giving me a new year one. That's what you do when you're saying we're going to raise the wage board 5%. That's how that works. That is normal.
Well, we will agree to disagree.
Fine, because I'm going to tell you that that makes no sense.
If you make $1 and you get a 5% raise, now you make $1.05.
Okay, let me
Not
ask you a
$1,
question.
not $1.02.
We typically give your raises on your anniversary date or October 1st. Pick one.
Anniversary date. But the pay scale is adjusted according to the contract on October 1st. So the whole pay scale updates, and then you get your steps. When I'm going recruiting and I try to tell these guys, no, the pay scale is going up 5%, look, and then I hand them this and they go, that's not 5%. I know I'm trying to be a stupid cop, but I'm not that great at math, but I can't figure this out. That's not what 5% means to the pay scale.
So would you rather have a 2% and then a 3% on your anniversary? Is that?
No, I want you to.
No, I want you to just give me the numbers you're saying you're going to give me.
Because if we go 5% across and then you want another increase on your anniversary, that's not 5%.
The point of negotiations is to adjust the pay scale. Since I've been here for 15 years, you get a raise on your
That's
anniversary.
how it works.
And then we negotiate what the pay
And that's
scale
not like
is.
7 or 8%.
No,
That's
it's-
not 5%.
You're working here every year, getting your accumulated raises. That's set. And then when we're saying, hey, on year 2, we're going to sit there and we're going to now have a new wage board that we've increased X amount. So then I can tell that officer, hey, on year 2, you're going to get an X amount. You'll see an X amount to the new wage board. So all I'm asking you to do is tell me if you're not going to do a 5%, if you're not going to move the number 5%, then just be honest to me and just say, hey, we did it as on year 2, we gave you 1.5.
We did it. You're
You
going to get
did.
5%.
You did. You raised,
did.
no, that
If I-
person's going to get 5%.
It's going
Every
2588 to
person will get
2599.
Every
No.
person.
So whatever day we enact this new contract, everybody's going to stay at their pay scale, we'll say, and they move over. So I move from whatever I'm at, year 4 sergeant to year 4 sergeant.
If that's the option you choose.
It's the way we've done it since before any of us were here.
All right.
So
What I see here is that one thing is, I can tell you straight up, I didn't agree to a year 3. That's absolute crap. That's absolute crap
Yep.
for wages. So
Yep.
what I'm going to do is I tried to give these officers hope that we were going to negotiate well. And all I'm going to show them is this is the city's final offer. In my opinion, we shouldn't even bother anymore. Obviously, it's just going to be moving towards that pass.
So, I don't mean to catch off, Jared, but this is, you're saying this proposal is the city's last and best offer, right?
The only thing that I have subject to removing is the year 3.
Okay.
Yep, year 3, I can remove that and make that an opener. That's the only leeway that I have at this time.
Okay. Can we caucus about that, please?
Absolutely. I just wanted to do something real quick.
Yeah, sure.
So the way I look at it, and I just want to make sure I'm clear, and if I have any kind of misunderstanding, again, please say so. But if I'm a year 1 employee right now, okay,
Make you 2588.
2434,
Okay, I'm sorry.
today,
Oh,
okay.
today. They're gonna go from 2434 to 2624 to 2755 to 2838 in a 3-year span. That's a 16.59% increase over 3 years.
It's not.
Okay,
How?
you go from 20, that's
John,
that's
I'll tell you where
cumulative.
the problem stems from.
That's the
Oh,
step.
hold on.
Let Brian talk.
With a step program, that's the way it works. That's guaranteed. They're guaranteed that increase every year. That's why taking it as calling it part of the raise, like Jared was saying, seems fairly underhanded because they're getting it no matter what. So that's where that's coming from.
I understand completely what you're saying, Brian, and my comment to that is, then you have to do what Sharon stated, and you get 1% October 1st and another percentage on your anniversary date. That's the only other way to do it.
Why do we have to change the way we've done it for the last several decades?
Because when council sits there and says, we're giving you I'm just making a number, and that's it, 5% raise, it's actually been greater than 5%.
Council had no issue doing this previously.
Council did not know.
That's their fault.
I'm sorry.
Understood, but it's our job to rectify it.
What
mean-
didn't they know? I'm confused on that part.
Correct it. Or
Ted,
Oh,
I've already
legitimate
agreed with you, and I went through this exercise with y'all several meetings ago and showed the raises that have been received, and it far exceeded what was the intent. And the intent was to give a 5% raise. It was meant to give a 5% raise. It wasn't meant to take a step one, then bump it up 5%, and then when they got their anniversary, get another 5%. That was not the intent. We will take the break so y'all can discuss.
So then why is the city still proposing staying with a step program? Because that's the purpose of the step program. Why don't we do a different way to do wages? It's not a step program because it seems like that's not what the city wants.
Sir, I will sit there and tell you, I've read more contracts in the last 2 months, and no one does it consistently. I mean, I see agreements out there that they haven't given a step program change in 6 years, and every year it just says, I'll give you a 3%. So there's no uniform way, Jared, that this is done. So we'll take a break, and just let us know when I'll go and
Thank you, I appreciate it. Just tell me when you're hot.
We're live, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, I went back and the reason why I came in here, I wanted to grab this, is that if you're a step one and you go to a step two under the current contract, that's a 7.8% increase. Year two, going from a step two to a step three was a 5%, and going from the third year, and I again have no problem pulling it out, is going to it was 3%. I can change, I get your statement. It's a 5% over and down. It's not a 5% across the board. I have no problem making that change. We understood it to be the way it is, but if it's, you prefer it to be a different way, I'm okay with that as well. The other thing that we can do, again, like I said, I've read a lot of various agreements. I have no problem, as Sharon stated, giving a COLA plus a longevity, but it's not going to be 7.8. You might get a 3% COLA and then the 4.8 step increase. So I have no problem working on that if that's what you want. But, that's just taking up more time. And if that's what y'all would like to do, I will give you all the time in the world. This is a fair offer. When we go and we look at I'm just wanting to make sure I can share something with you. That's the only reason I'm. That's exactly. Well, I would only show them those. Obviously, I can't show the other unions, but this is exactly show what I showed. But
You're showing what you showed.
but I'm wanting to show them this.
So 95,000.
What is, where is this to this?
Well, this is the
And for that time, 60,000.
to show that we are. making
Oh.
real fair.
Yeah.
How does that add 25 cents, right? We have 25 cents.
Yeah.
But then when you take it back 5%.
John, I'm sorry, Jared, the consensus of the board, do you want him to redo it with COLA and the step using the total 5%, or do you want him to leave this alone like we just, and remove year three like we discussed?
I'm sorry, ask the question one more time.
Do you want John to redo this scale so it's COLA plus the step? So in this case, if it's 5%, I'm not arguing numbers, I'm just using what they said. And they say 2% COLA, 3% step increase, or vice versa. You want them to do that, or you want them to leave the scale alone so the unit can vote on it afterwards?
Where are we applying COLA? Where is COLA coming into play?
If you switch the COLA, like split it out into COLA and percentage increase, they're going to be the same numbers, right?
That's correct.
It's just going to say something different.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I think we just drop year three because, for one, the numbers are lower than year
Right,
two.
right.
So that's, how do I recruit with that when I show people pay scales? I think drop year three and then we'll take it to a vote and see what people say.
If they split between the COLA and
It's
the
going to be the
anniversary,
exact same numbers.
it can't be.
No, he's just gonna say, your step is this much, which the step's already here,
But if you.
but he's gonna call it a 3.4% increase.
But if I give you a 3% raise, and then I give you later on another 3% raise, that's more than a flat 6%.
That's correct.
So it's beneficial to
Yeah,
get
but
that higher.
these
You may
numbers
not-
aren't gonna
Yeah,
change,
but-
it's
but-
just gonna change the definition here.
Exactly. That's,
So-
that's
I'm
exactly.
still gonna get you to the exact same number.
So it's relevant what it says there, we're still voting on the same.
So I think you should just drop the year 3 offered.
Fair.
And then they will vote on it. I do have authorization from the attorney because he had to go back into court. Well, I can bring you back on one more time. So I have a question for the city attorney, and it's a legal question. Brian?
Yeah.
You're on. All right. I'm gonna add.
The-
I'm sorry, ma'am. I missed your last name.
Oh, Shannon Balmer.
Balmer. Ms.
We
Balmer,
have every
um,
intent to always remain.
There's
At the
an
top.
issue with my unit here, the officers and sergeants. They have been told, and they're under the impression that the lieutenant's
I'll
unit,
email it to you, Bill.
that the lieutenant's unit
You don't have
block
to.
their pension, negotiated pension increases if they vote yes on this.
Okay, so
They're concerned
I
if they
always do
vote
it
yes
after the
on this and agree to the pension increases, as the city's proposed with the COLA, the drop at 20, high 3, and the 1048. That's correct, right?
Yes,
Okay, they're under the
if they
impression
vote yes,
that the lieutenant's unit can vote no and block these pension increases from them.
that is correct. So that's why I do not want to put the the retirement article in here. So the answer is yes and no. That was exactly why I did not put the retirement information in there based on my previous conversation that we had with the city attorney. Jared, all of us, back when we were doing the line of duty death benefit, if you recall. So by not putting it in there, I'm putting under Article 32 duration that we're going to talk about the COLA. I'm still going to do the ordinance with the 3 items, but by it not being in your CBA specifically, if they vote no, it doesn't hold you getting your raises. We don't want anything to,
I have just real quick question. The lieutenants have made it very clear they're going to impasse if they don't get the cap increase. You've not offered us the cap increase, and you just said we're bound by this together. So you
on
offered
the
us,
ordinance.
you offered us
I
pension
can
increases you
say that
cannot
with
accept?
regard to the pension, that is an integral part to this contract. So if it's not in the contract, we can't agree to it, because if it can't be done, we can't do that. So it would have to be in the contract.
We don't have any other pension
Yeah.
items in the contract.
Well, I'm sorry, that's a hard line.
Yeah, I mean, we hear you. We agree with you. I mean, because I was also asked to ask you,
I mean, that was made abundantly clear.
Yeah,
That was
I know.
told.
He just said we have to be in agreement with the
Lieutenants.
lieutenants to get any changes to the
That they can in
pension.
fact block everything. Block the
And
pensions.
they've already stated they're going to block this.
Correct.
So this is
This is
it's
just,
an empty offer. We
we
can't
can't
have these
accept it
things
because
offered.
yeah, we agree, Ted.
But this will still go, you'll still take this to.
Yeah, we'll take it to a vote.
Yeah. I was told to ask. You heard it, right? The city council has they will give no questions asked. 20 and out, drop, high 3. No questions asked. We want to move this contract up and get the wages immediately. If y'all feel that, this might be a issue next week, how do we move forward that,
So the ones that the council's willing to give, you're willing to put those in the contract?
I would put that under year 2 or under the duration article.
Yeah, no, as long as it's in the contract, it's enforceable, but outside the contract, it's not.
Do you understand what he's saying, John?
We do.
Okay. Because
So,
I can't, if it's in the contract, then we can enforce it. If it's not in the contract, you can't enforce it.
But if it's in the ordinance, it can be enforced as well.
No, no.
You can change that anytime
Hold
that
on.
you decide to,
no, sir, I
Not
can't.
without.
Not
pension
without
board
the
approval.
pension board, no, sir, we cannot.
but that's still outside of their.
That's
hands.
outside of our loop.
Yeah, with it being outside of negotiations, unless we incorporate the ordinance as it is by reference and add in what the intention is to change the ordinance, then the union has no negotiation power over the ordinance.
How does the pension do half the pension one way and half the pension another?
We've done it for the last 12 years.
Yeah, you already have.
We
to.
have
It's
tier
already
one, tier
split.
two. They created that levels.
That was your guys' decision to do.
Everybody used to be one, and then
I know,
they
but
split.
the pension plan has to state these, the ordinance affects the pension plan, which states what's in the pension.
Is my question clear to you?
So you're saying, asking if they can block,
Yes.
and I would have to check with John, John,
Sam,
pretty quick
Yeah.
to answer, but I would, have to double check it and get back to you all with Brian,
thank you.
but I wrote it down, so.
I appreciate it. I just want to make sure that I was understood because I can ramble.
I'm understanding that right. He's saying they can block us.
Absolutely.
Dave said they will block us.
Yep.
For this.
Yes.
So this is blocked.
Yep.
Okay.
Only go everything.
Whether we say yes or not, as
Unless
everything stands now,
Unless
I
it's,
gotta go, I'll call right
We
back.
can't
Unless
separate the
it's-
pension.
Yep.
It has to be one negotiation.
unless it's in the contract,
Yes.
that's what Brian's saying. If it's
Then
in the
we'd have to get
contract, then they cannot block it.
Right.
Okay.
Looks to me like they're
Right.
going to carry more.
Huh?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brian had to go back in the court.
No, that's fine. I just want to be able to,
Yeah, they're actually on different
there's
contracts.
nothing
so
we can,
that
there's
would cause
nothing for
that
me to be able to
division
do otherwise. I have no power
Unless they
to
put it
make.
into the contract and then our efforts are enforced.
I think we need probably to get some pension attorney's legal advice, because if this goes to the pension board for vote, and you all vote for it, and the 5 of them don't, wouldn't your vote carry?
I
Well,
don't
that
think
would,
so.
that would make sense to me is that the majority of the pension plan carry over, but I don't understand, I'm not a lawyer. and I don't-
I know.
The lieutenants have a pension attorney on retainer, you can ask them.
I do too.
Can you put 20 years of service? Because you
Yeah,
just
one
said we're
second.
20.
Yeah. Trying to, the right word, bargaining units.
The PBA is a bargaining unit. There you go.
You spell out lieutenant? I would.
Well, I technically would need to spell out IUPA and PBA, so I would do that when I have.
Right.
Yeah. Ted, what did you say, sir?
You wrote it. You got it.
Oh, right here?
Oh, the 20 years of service.
And then, and again, it was expressly understood when we took this to council back in July that even though proposal 4 was drop at normal retirement date, that these go hand in hand. So it would be, drop at 20. Okay? Because, if you're doing normal retirement at 20 years.
Right, we're
that's-
changing
Yes, sir.
the
Yep.
normal retirement date, basically.
Yeah. So this puts it in the agreement. This then therefore, where it's located 3 years from now, it would be a strike through. Because that's why we're trying to avoid, you remember we've talked about this repeatedly. Oh, no, that was fire. We've used y'all's agreement as a template for the other collective bargaining agreement, that your retirement article just says, hey, you will be provided a retirement benefit, so that you're not putting, all the different caveats that are in the ordinance.
I agree.
Keeps it clean.
Unfortunately, we're just at a problem area that
Yep.
now we have to.
So
Why are we putting this in duration and not under pension so that you're implying the benefit's going to go away in 3 years?
as soon as the ordinance is in there, no, sir, it doesn't go away. Ordinance is a lot more difficult to change than,
Okay.
and I've said it all along, Jared. It was my plan all along that I'm going to take the CBA and the first reading side by side. If it means that you want me to put the CBA directly behind the ordinance, so that you see that, unless they approve the ordinance, you're asking to remove the CBA. I'm not wanting to do anything underhanded to remove that benefit. So I'll put it in any order on the council agenda that they tell me I can do.
Does this fix the issue, Kyle?
I don't know if it fixes the issue. We're gonna have to let Brian look at it,
Okay.
okay? Um,
Yep.
Well, okay,
Yep.
I mean,
Okay.
I can't, can I even bring this to vote until it's verified?
Well, we can
Well-
schedule.
I will get with Mr. Lynn
Okay.
immediately following this, send it to him, and whether it's in 32 or 29, we will put it in the appropriate place, and I will get it to you before the end of business tomorrow.
And take that off?
Yes, I will.
So that way I have a final copy of what's to be
Yep.
voted on?
Yep. If you want to give those
Um,
back, I'll print them right now. That's
Did you
rejected.
Did you want a 2-year contract instead of
Yeah,
3,
I got-
and this
I
is a
got
reopener? Or
I
did you,
want 2 years of wages.
and
We
then the
can do a
3rd year as
3-year
a
contract. I want 2 years of
I got
wages
it.
with a required
I'm not, I
3-year
just,
opener.
I put an X on it.
John,
I'm not.
we want to do this as a reopener.
Yeah, we're gonna do all that
We have to
together.
change it.
Also, just so we can clean up a couple things, on the grievances section that was still up, we checked with Attorney Lambert, and I believe he and Carly had gone back and forth that they didn't want to require any changes right now, so we can just leave those as is, John. And on Article 10 and 11, I was not presented any direction, changes, anything like that. So what I would do is I'd say leave 10 and 11 can also
Okay.
remain the same.
Okay, so let's make sure you're good with this.
It's gonna have to be for Brian.
We're not gonna know before he reviews
Hold
it.
on a second.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you
Hey,
can answer.
Brian, you're
Hey,
on
Brian.
speaker.
So I've rewritten Article 32.2 that for year 3 of this agreement, Article 28 wages and one mutually agreed upon article shall be subject to negotiations. So then that means I have to go up here to 28. Okay, I took out the year 3. Okay, so let's go back. You said,
10, 11.
Brian, you gotta go back in the court. Brian, you gotta go back in the court.
No one provided me any changes or suggestions, so it could be TA, leave it as is. Same as grievances and disciplinary actions.
okay, so you want 11 to stay the same as well?
Yeah, stay the same.
Can we go over that change real quick? Brian's on speaker now. I think I corrected my problem.
Okay. For Article 28, Brian, I deleted the reference to wages for year 3. And then under duration, I changed it to wages and one mutually agreed upon article shall be subject to negotiations in the 3rd year. Okay. 19. Save this.
Do you need to tell Brian what you typed in reference to the pension changes in the article?
I said it earlier.
I don't know if you picked it up.
Brian, did you hear what we're going to do for the pension changes? I'm going to get with our pension attorney, Mr. Lynn. We're going to ask him if the statement that I'm about to read to you should be in Article 29 or if it's okay to be in 32. But for year 1 of this agreement, the city will bring an ordinance change for Article 29 retirement plan, adding an increased benefit for drop at normal retirement date. Tier 2 receive 3-year average final compensation and normal retirement 48, 10, or 20 of service upon ratification of both the IUPA and PBA lieutenant bargaining units. For year 2 of this agreement, the city will reopen Article 29 retirement after the city performs an actuarial replication of the active liability and review of the COLA proposal. For year 3 of this agreement, Article 28 wages and one mutually agreed upon article shall be subject to negotiations. So the 3 different caveats.
All right, and Jared, I know that the lieutenants had said that they would mess it up, but are we certain that the lieutenants will vote for it? Because if that's a caveat to them bringing it, that causes problems too.
The message was that the lieutenants are not going to accept pension changes that do not provide them a cap increase.
Okay, well then if it's not going to be ratified by the lieutenants, then it's, again, an unenforceable agreement. Because if the lieutenants don't ratify, then it means nothing.
So him writing it in the contract doesn't do anything then?
Well, not the way I heard it, because the way I heard it was the ordinance will be changed upon ratification of both IUPA and the lieutenants.
Okay.
So if the lieutenants
Okay.
disagree, we have no ordinance.
So are we willing to make this change that what Brian's suggesting so we avoid this issue or not?
You'd have to take out the lieutenants.
Yeah, just take out the lieutenants and
Yeah.
upon ratification by our members.
Right, Brian, would that make sense to just remove
Yeah,
the,
because
P-
if IUPA ratifies it and it's part of the contract, then it's a binding contract. It'll have to be done one way or the other, whether they create a separate tier or pay out the difference or whatever it is. Whereas if it's upon ratification of both units and the other unit doesn't ratify, it never actually goes into effect.
John, can you put in there tier 1 and tier 2?
Where?
That's singling out tier 2 only.
For which one, sir?
It's like the 3rd line down.
For which item?
Plan, you're on
The
it.
one you're on.
Just scoot over to where it says tier.
Drop at normal retirement date.
See,
Tier
it
2
it
receives-
specifies only tier 2.
You're going to apply that to both people.
So it'd be tier 1 and tier 2,
So
because it's all of us, not just tier 2.
Well, so, yes, I'll make that clear. I was using the exact language from Mr. Little. I
They're gonna go by the word, they're gonna go by the words
I
in the.
understand.
You still have it, because they have it.
Yeah, we'll still have it for
the line, still have higher benefits.
Because I still don't have drop.
They're still.
I still don't
post-
have
yeah,
drop,
there's-
right?
No, because
There's other things involved, yeah.
Oh, so I would get dropped.
You'd get dropped, but you wouldn't get COLA or.
Oh, yeah, I don't get called.
They would also, Jared, probably need to add in there, for the time being, that COLA needs to be enforced to 25, or else we're losing the ability, if you get 25 at now, you don't get COLA.
So, Mr. Lambert,
You know what I mean?
um,
The way that's written.
question is, the sidebar over here is that we would obviously take this ordinance change to the pension board. Previously,
Until it's.
Guys, he's trying to make the proposal.
Okay. so Jared, you remember what we went through. So my question is we have to take this ordinance change before the pension board. For vote. So it was previously stated by our city attorney that he will write the proposed ordinance change. Therefore, then I will submit it, or he will submit it to the board for approval. It just takes a majority vote for them to approve it, and then we take it before the city council for approval. So we do not feel then, as long as it's approved by the pension board, it gets approved by the city council.
Does it have to be unanimous, all the?
No, sir. It's a majority vote.
But two people on it.
But we will confirm that.
We'll
with
confirm
Mr.
that with
Lynn.
the pension.
Yeah. The pension board has
Yeah,
those people gonna vote.
understood.
I mean, our members would have to vote for. yes
We have,
first.
we have work to do on our side, Jared,
Yeah.
but we are not wanting to hold it up. And I believe the way we put this in here, this isn't holding up. If IUPA approves this, I want to get this the first pay period of November, after November 4th. I want pay in everyone's pockets.
Right.
Let's do this, John, unless Brian has an issue with it. You said that you're gonna take this to the pension attorney, and
Yes,
then
sir.
by tomorrow afternoon, we would have the revised
As long
copy.
as we can.
Yes, sir. And I will, in fact, I have to leave here in 15 minutes for a meeting.
Right.
I will call Mr. Lynn on my way there and ask him this question. I've already been on the phone with him several times this week, and I will get that answer. And once I do, I will call you after I speak to her
Yes,
and let you know what the answer is. So I have a game plan on what to do tomorrow.
okay, and you're gonna
So that I
submit,
submit this to you, the Word document, so that whether it's in 29 or 32, you'll get it in the appropriate location.
so the final copy will be tomorrow afternoon. We'll
Yes, sir.
have it, and we'll present it to Brian, and, you guys will already, your legal's already looked at it. And
Yes,
at
sir.
that point, we can, if it's acceptable to Brian, and from a legal point of view, then these guys can take it to a vote.
Correct.
Now, whether it goes up or down, I don't control that. That's your membership.
Understood. So it is my plan to take this to city council, assuming things get approved, November 7th, Jared. So that just means that when this is said and done, I just have to have everything wrapped up by the 26th.
Okay.
So that's 3 weeks.
When will the pension board meet again?
They will, Karen, I will contact Karen that they have to call a special meeting.
The review of the COLA, when do you project that's gonna be done?
So it's after April 1st.
So
So-
next year?
Yes, sir. So from a timing perspective, I have to provide to the company, the exact same information that I have to provide to Mr. Little. So you want to do it side by side? Because, yes, I'll be right. Thank you so much.
Can
I
you add
really
in
did have
there,
to leave, so that's fine.
since we have COLA right now, and it would actually be taking away COLA until April, which may harm people, can you put that what's already in effect is 25 years and you get COLA? Can you put that in there tentatively to when that survey's done? So that way, if we have somebody that has the benefit, they're not negatively impacted on it. Because say I
When
got
nothing
25
changes.
years,
Yes,
Well,
sir.
the way you have it
way
written
it's written.
doesn't keep COLA for the people who have it.
right, it takes away COLA.
No, sir.
It's not
I can't-
addressed in there.
No, sir. I'm not changing the ordinance.
Mhm.
As long as that ordinance that we have is currently in effect, nothing changes to the COLA. So this is,
What, I mean, there you go, for tier 2.
correct.
Simple.
There you go.
I'm
Yeah.
also gonna.
Yeah, it
Just
doesn't,
mirror.
no, I'm good. I just want everyone to understand is I can't change, I can sit here and tell you that you're getting 10 and out. I can tell you you're getting a 7% COLA, but until the ordinance is changed, none of that
Yeah,
occurs.
but we don't want them to just grab this copy of the ordinance and then we go, oops,
Understood.
we agreed to that.
Does that clarify?
Mhm.
Um,
It does, thank you.
Just to say one more quick thing that I want to address on your specialty pays, you didn't add in house negotiator, so is that the point that you didn't want to add it into the specialty pays?
Yeah, it was something we discussed last time.
Yeah.
You just passed, I think you just passed it.
Oh, okay, I did.
It's crisis negotiation team.
Oh, there you go, sorry.
That sounds good.
The discussion last time, Chief, was about they go through emotional distress, doing the negotiations.
Yeah,
Someone knocks themselves in front of them.
they're trained, they train, call out schedule.
That's it?
I'm good with it.
Okay.
So after you, tomorrow afternoon, we'll run it by Brian. As soon as we have a thumbs up from him, they'll submit it to the membership group.
Does he have availability tomorrow afternoon?
Brian?
Let me look at my calendar.
Because I would rather just say, hey, at 3:30, Brian,
No, I'm into land negotiations tomorrow, but if it comes down to it, there's something I can always call in.
When did we do the 2-year adjustment contract? Find that.
can we, how late does your meeting go tomorrow?
There it is.
We got
Typically, they go till about 3:30 or 4.
So why don't we tentatively, why don't we plan to have a call 4:30 tomorrow afternoon?
Sounds good.
That way, that's a time certain that I need him to give me that answer. Okay?
That'll work.
One more thing. I think when you were doing this, you pulled the original contract. In 21, we added in range master under the adjusted wages or the adjusted specialties.
Here's our,
Yeah, so if you will recall, I said that to y'all previously, it was a trouble finding
Yeah,
the Word document, so.
I just want to make sure I caught it and that way we
Yep.
just
Yeah, nothing, which one did you say?
range master.
I see it. And would you be okay if when I submit this tomorrow, I'll put these in alphabetical order?
Sure.
sure.
Thank you, Jared, for pointing this out.
You're welcome.
There is a reason why I've started putting in all of these items we take to council, and she liked it, scrivener's errors. So if we find something it wasn't intentional, then it gives us the opportunity to plug it back in. So I will put all of this in alphabetical order.
Okay.
So that it just makes it easier. I've covered everything that changed, Jared.
Okay.
So IOU, the retirement language after talking to Mr. Lynn, I will plan to, I will set the calendar invite right now so that we do not forget about it. I will include yourself, or just you, Kyle.
6 1/2 does the other, but I prefer to be included.
Oh, yeah, I was trying to exclude you. I'll go ahead and I'll just put Jim Lynn in it. That way, if he is available, that way we can just do it.
We could talk to.
I will, yep. I emailed Mr. Lambert so many times that Megan automatically pops up now.
Well, it's a good thing it goes to her.
Okay, I'm doing it as a Teams meeting, but if it's possible, Jared, are you on duty tomorrow?
Tomorrow, yes. What time?
I'm setting it up for 4:30.
Okay, yeah, I'm at work.
Yeah, so we'll just do it in here, and then that way we can all
That's fine.
be a part of it. And once we're done with that, that's how we'll settle the language, and then I'll ship all the documents out.
Okay.
Okay?
And then just deleting that year 3.
Yes, sir. Yep, get it on there.
On the wages,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay, so deleted it there. Saved it. So.
All right.
Okay.
Then we have everything else covered on this. Nothing's outstanding.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna take this off.
Right.
We obviously, so I will
Oh, other leave, are
also,
you good on other leave? 19, did you make?
I wasn't sure what that was for.
That was for the
that was
comp
for the
time.
Comp time.
Yeah, I actually had just made a note. Do we, we're so close. Do we want to create another opener for that?
no, we have to do, so I will get in here tomorrow, the compensated absence. I will add language in here.
Okay, because Kyle sent, you sent,
You did?
yeah, you sent it.
I honestly don't
No, he
recall.
made the changes and sent it to you. Because I think I'm copied in the email, but
Yeah, stuff our games to correct all of the issues. Pay now, pay now.
The last email that I got from Kyle was on August 23rd, and it just says, ignore my last, the 29th is the only day that works for me.
If you have it, could you forward it to me, John, and Jason?
yeah. Let's see.
And if you show it to me, I'll just say we're good with it. I'll add that in there too for tomorrow as well.
I think he sent me the one with the CBA update. I just want to see if it's in here. Oh, you remember what day?
I'd have to look at the big computer, you know, my computer.
Well, why don't you just do this then? Why don't you just, if you get back to your computer and you find it, just email it to John.
Yeah, I'll do that.
All right.
And then the other thing that I will do too is for 28, I will also insert the pays in there as well. And then I will I will plan to sign off on it tomorrow, and then y'all can make the decision if y'all want to TA it tomorrow, because it is a meeting. It's got all the appropriate people in it. Yeah, well, no, they have to take it to a vote, but I can go ahead and get Megan to list this as a meeting tomorrow. That we can TA it once we have the agreed upon language.
I have, I found it, I'm forwarding it to you right now.
Are you okay with that?
I'll pull it up in a second.
That way I'll have everything pulled up. And what I've been doing, instead of where we were writing the squiggly lines, I just started putting in the footer, a city block and a union block. So I can have all that. And then what I wanted to do is when I print it, I'll print the entire contract. And then I just want to initial every page to make sure that we're all in agreement, because like the range master, I've used the same document with us for 5 months? And I'm not, that way.
Yeah, I forwarded it to you, so it's up to you. You don't have to look at it now if you were
No, I want to get it.
There's a 19, yes, 1909, 1910, 1911.
You can read all this emails.
2024. I don't know what's wrong. That's correct, but I just searched every email and I didn't have one email from you.
I'm having that too, though.
We had the server issue, what, 2
That was
days ago?
Monday.
But that
Since the
shouldn't have been
meeting
email on.
last week, and it shows that I can't find it. I can't find the email that came in or the one I forwarded to them.
What do I hit, Kyle?
It shouldn't be our servers, it should be Microsoft's.
Should be an
So-
attachment, I
Yeah,
believe.
it's an attachment.
You didn't need to forward it.
Yeah, should have.
Let me try this again. See,
How do I do this? Oh, I allow that. Okay. Do I need to save this?
You might need to save it, attach it.
Okay.
Yeah, I use the same thing in there, CBA with the requested changes, and I have nothing. This has become, I literally sent Warren an email the other day, and I teamed him. I sent you an email, please confirm receipt.
Are you guys using Barracuda?
No, we're switching to Barracuda, because the one we have, odds are, it's in the spam filter, because it's an attachment.
That's true.
Huh?
Yeah, because I found a bunch of my guys' stuff.
I've sent you the
Thank
attachment.
you, sir.
Just read it. I hope you guys
Highly suspicious.
19.
Yeah.
Oh, you just took what I sent previously?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, city attorney said no. So he brought it up when we met with another bargaining unit. He made it very clear, I'm working on it, and that will be put into place. I provided them, y'all saw, I provided a template. He is rewriting that policy in total.
Okay, so that's not something that you guys, because I just took, our discussion was, you know, we were in agreement on your proposal, and that's all I did was put it in there. So we don't have an agreement on that particular item.
I think can you scroll down a little bit?
Yep.
A little bit more?
Yep.
Right there, 1% times? I think that's 1.5% time and a half. That just says 1%.
Might be a copy and paste issue.
Yeah, but the whole intent of what we were doing in 19 was adding a provision for comp time.
Right. Yeah.
So I will get that.
Okay.
I will put that in there. We will work on that tomorrow, have that for tomorrow afternoon. But yeah, I know what you did. And
I was trying to,
I applaud it. I really do.
just trying to make it fit with
No,
what you guys
but
wanted, you know?
I really, trust me, I really applaud it.
But the comp time bucket would be for more than just forms, right?
Correct, because we go to the comp. That's for more than just, putting the hours that you work.
Oh, I think I put in there emergencies,
You
natural
did.
disasters.
Yeah,
Correct.
man-made or natural disaster. So
Riots, disorder.
Declared emergency.
I have my marching
We're
orders
trying to get
here.
people overtime for, right?
So I will get all of this in there and have it ready at 4:30 tomorrow.
All right.
I am the only thing that I have tomorrow morning is I have a meeting with water sewer. So I have no issue of getting this completed in time. And like I said, I'll call Mr. Lynn as soon as I walk out of here.
Okay.
That's all.
Thank you, Jared,
All right,
Bill,
thank you.
Ted.
Thank you.
I'm signing you off, Brian.